on here. Hot take, and I'm going to warn smokers right now. You're about to be pissed. Like really pissed.
You're going to offend all smokers.
Not me. It's not me.
Okay.
But, man, when I was texting with a friend and he came with this one, I'm like, are you serious, right? So I'm catching up with a friend a couple of days ago on text, and the last time we talked, he was super excited, and he had been working hard to try to get a date with a girl in the office. I mean, all he kept saying was how great she was, and they had a connection, such a connection at work, but she wasn't really having it, so he finally gets this date, right? So as we're talking back and forth, I bring it up because I was intrigued, like, hey, man, how's it going? So I write, so what happened with that girl you were so excited finally landing a date with? And he texts back, yeah, ... no. And I write back, no. And he wrote, she smokes. And I'm like, yeah, that would be a deal breaker for me, man. Because, and this is sidebar, I was at one point married to a smoker, and, I just didn't like, for me, coming home and kissing her, and she had that cigarette smell in her mouth, and you guys know how health conscious I am too, so I'm thinking that's the way he's going on with this. So I wrote, yeah, I've been there, it's just not my thing. And he says, that's not it at all, actually. He says, I have a weird theory. Here you go. You ready? Anybody that smokes suffers from low self-esteem, and I don't want to deal with that.
How did he come up with that theory?
He's going to tell you. Because I, in capital letters, wrote, what the F are you talking about? Can you even assume where he's going with this?
No. And I don't want to.
I guess like in older Hollywood movies, they always had like the cool girl or the villain, like they'd be like taking a drag off a cigarette, made it look really cool. But by the time the 90s came around, everybody that had a cigarette in their mouth looked like a D-bag.
That's not it.
Thanks to those truth.com commercials. Remember those?
I do. Those were effective, though.
Yeah, they were.
Those were really good. So I wrote, what are you talking about? And he writes, yeah. I think anybody that knowingly does that to their body doesn't respect themselves enough to stop putting that kind of poison in their body.
Okay.
But you can say that about so many things.
Yeah.
That means anybody who drinks has low self-esteem.
That's where I went.
Does your friend drink or eat fast food once in a while or
processed sugar?
Yeah, like anything is perfect.
Yeah, we can debate this.
Okay.
All right. And if you want to get in on this, 1-855-BERT, or maybe you think the dude's right. So I wrote, well, couldn't she say the same thing about it when it comes to you and drinking, right? And he says, she could, I guess, but I feel it's different. I'm an occasional drinker. If I was drinking 10 beers a day, I think it would be similar. Why would someone knowingly hurt their own body every few hours without feeling like life is worth living? I can't be with a person like that. So then I wrote, well, I got to use this on the show. And he's like, be my guest. Nobody knows me there. So let's use your guys' analogy. If you were... I don't agree with this, by the way, so I'm just playing devil's advocate. But if you did know somebody that was eating fast food for every single meal, could you say the same thing? Like they don't really value their health, and if they did, they would have a higher set of values when it comes to taking care of themselves and want to live a long, healthy life.
No.
Like what I put it, my body's a temple. I have to treat it with it because I don't think I think with smoking, drinking, that's an addiction, and I don't think that necessarily means an insecure person. It can stem from so many different things. It can be genetics.
Yep.
It can be trauma. It can be flipping life, man. So I don't think that an addiction constitutes like a really insecure person, because I know a lot of the most confident people that they left their addiction and now they do CrossFit like crazy, and they're super confident, but they have to do CrossFit like twice a day, because that's the new addiction. But I wouldn't see them as an insecure individual.
Cassie, you want in on this at all? So if you're he won't date a smoker. If you're just joining us, he won't date a smoker because he thinks it's a self-esteem issue. Like, why would you fill your lungs with a chemical that you know is going to alter your life and, quite frankly, cut your life short if you have great self-esteem, is his theory, not mine.
Dude, and I'm not down with smoking, but it comes from a standpoint of not really understanding other people or being able to put yourself in their shoes. Like Davi said, smoking is an addiction, and nicotine is up there like as one of the most addictive substances. Eating fast food for every meal, I don't know if you've been to the store lately, healthy groceries are expensive, and that's my dad's area of expertise, and he did a shop comparison, and it is way more expensive to eat healthy than fast food. Standing in the sun, do you wear sunscreen every day? Because why would you stand in the sun when you know it could give you skin cancer and it's ruining your skin for extended periods of time? You could literally apply this to anything. Any amount of alcohol, doctors say, any amount, not just binge drinking, is unhealthy and is bad for you. So where do you draw the line? And what it does is say, like a stance like that to me says, my experience is the only one that matters. I'm not going to put myself in anyone else's shoes and try to see the world from their perspective.
That sounds about right for this too.
Yeah, it does. It seems it's just so short-sighted and closed-minded because you're not taking in any other factors as far as like mental health, socioeconomic status. There's so many other factors that come into play rather than just, oh, that person has low self-esteem.
Right.
Like it's so short-sighted.
Seems narrow, right?
Very narrow-minded.
And if I had a very narrow-minded view of pandemic and I'm like, you left your house during COVID, you're so insecure. Just live your life.
Maybe it is time for me to do a check on my friends, because I have another friend whose hot take is that if you are a parent and you have abs, then you're not a good parent because you're spending too much time at the gym. So between that friend and this friend, maybe it's time for me to take a look in the mirror and start choosing different friends.
The Bert Show.
Hey, do you like what you just watched? Because you can get more Bert Show for free. We drop new podcasts every weekday, and you can find us anywhere. Spotify, Apple, any place you get podcasts.